Hey honeys, welcome back to my channel and another episode of Thirsty Thursday. Today I'm coming to you guys with just my water in my hydro flask. No big deal. It seems like I'm so boring. Like seriously, I'm going to start making Thirsty Thursdays where I come up with some kind of cocktail or something. It's just, I mentioned this in past videos. Is it me or does it just seem like it's super dark in here? I mentioned it in past videos before. Just everything's kind of going wonky with my health, so because of that, water has been my drink of choice. I had coffee, was it yesterday? And oh my god, you guys, my heart was like all over the place. So, and that was decaf, so I have to, but you know, the problem was I got a really big one, and I think that's why it affected me. But I do miss coffee. But anyway, so I'm coming to you guys with water today, just plain old water. And oh, damn it, I never like use gloss, hardly. And I went to Target and they had the intense butter glosses there, so I was like, oh, I'm gonna go get one. And I've been using it. I've been loving the color, but I don't like the transfer, and I certainly don't like when it gets stuck in my hair on days like this. When I wear my hair down, my hair like flies in and then it gets stuck. But wipe that off. So today is going to be kind of a combo video. I'm going to do a Thirsty Thursday with a confessions of a stay-at-home mom. I have gotten this request to do this twice already via the email that I leave down below for you guys if you want to send me a message or ask a question or have a topic you want me to touch base on. And it came from two different people, and I've been saying that I'm going to take care of this now for about a month and a half, and I just never got around to it. And the reason being is that I just keep forgetting exactly what the questions were. So basically, the first question about stay-at-home moms and so forth basically asked me is, what are my thoughts about women or men who basically say that women like me, stay-at-home moms, are pretty much worthless and lazy. And this is a really strong topic for me, and the reason why I say this is because I wasn't always a stay-at-home mom, and you never know in the future, depending on where the course of my life may take or our lives may go with my family, I may not be a stay-at-home mom any longer. But right now, I've been staying at home now for, let's see, just about 7 years, or maybe about a month more than 7 years. As most of you guys know, if you've been following me from my old channels, I worked in corporate America. I worked for a very large hotel chain, and the type of job that I had currently before I became a stay-at-home mom, not currently, but the type of job I had before I became a stay-at-home mom was a regional position. It was a regional management position and an executive position. So I either traveled or I wasn't home. And my eldest was just 2-3 years old, and I spent so much time at work. Plus, if I wasn't traveling, my job was on the opposite side of the island, which is basically a 2-hour drive with no traffic. When there is traffic, or if there was a fire or anything, because it was a 1-lane road a lot of the times to get there, it would take hours to get home. And if there was an accident, or like if there was a fire on the mountain or something like that, it would shut the road down and I would have to sleep at the hotel, or a drive around the cliffside on the opposite side of the island. So it was pretty hairy scary, and I missed out on a lot of things when my eldest was growing up. I wasn't there when he took his first steps. I wasn't there to feed him his first food. Basically, I was always working. And you know, it wasn't until I no longer had that job that I realized how much I knew how much I was missing out on. But the job paid really well, and cost of living in Hawaii is really expensive. So, you know, my husband and I were living good. The money was banking in, like we were living really well. So while I did realize I missed out on a lot of things, it still was kind of that you weigh out the positives and the negatives kind of deal. And it wasn't really until I no longer had the job and I was home with him. And then, let's see, I stopped working at the hotel in July. I found out that I was pregnant in January. So I was home for about 6 months, found out I was pregnant. And just a little backstory. My husband and I had a hard time conceiving to get more children. I mean, it was hard enough with my eldest, but even more so harder for us to get pregnant again. And then we were blessed with twins. So, you know, there's positives and negatives to being at home and to being at work. I never ever diss on a mom who has to go to work, because I know as a mom that went to work that it's hard to go to work every day, miss out on a lot of stuff, and then come home and your mommy duties are still there. But the fact of the matter is that a stay-at-home mom isn't lazy. I may stay at home, but I also technically have a home business. I run my blog, which generates money, and I post there several times a week. The boys take part in that. They also get products for review. Sometimes it's sponsored, sometimes it's not. There's a number of different things. It's kind of like a family business because we get products all the time. But the fact of the matter is that I do earn income while I'm at home, and I do volunteer at school. I'm constantly busy with the boys' schedules already throughout the day, plus my blog, which is full-time in itself. And then besides all of that stuff, I still do the cooking, the cleaning, the shuttling things around. My boys play sports, so I am the soccer mom that drives them all over the place, takes them to where they have to go. My eldest plays band, so we're constantly shuttling instruments and going wherever we need to go as well. So it's really busy. And the thing about a stay-at-home mom is that a stay-at-home mom really doesn't just only stay at home. And when she does, we don't have that outlet. Like, I'm constantly a homebody nowadays, as you guys know, because I don't have too many vlogs like we used to. And we're just busy running around like chickens without our heads sometimes, just busy taking care of our kids, taking care of our husband, and trying to get everything going. So, you know, my thought process on this is, please don't diss on stay-at-home moms. I don't diss on working moms. I would love to have a working mom be able to really experience what it's like to be at home with their children and be able to do certain things that a stay-at-home mom can do that a working mom cannot. I would love a working mom to be able to experience that situation, because there's a closeness there. Like, my sons are just, what the heck? It is starting to rain. My sons and I are really close. I'm not saying that they're not close with my husband, but you know, you would expect sons to be kind of close with their dad already. And you know, my boys pretty much tell me everything. They know that mom's got their back, and that I'm pretty much available, and they know that dad has to work, but that mom will always capture it on video or something of the sort, you know. So being a stay-at-home mom doesn't mean, now it's starting to downpour, doesn't mean that I'm lazy. I mean, I work just as hard. And then if you're a stay-at-home mom, but you run a home business, that's even way more work. Like, it's a lot to do, and it's a lot to fathom, and I don't agree that stay-at-home moms are lazy. If they were, then the job wouldn't be so much of a challenge, and a lot of times they're not challenging them. You tell somebody, oh well, you know, I'm a stay-at-home mom and it's stressful, and they'll be like, well, why don't you go to work? But the fact of the matter is everybody's life is a challenge. There's challenges, there's positives, there's negatives, there's upsides, there's downsides. It's work, and it's what you need to do. And I love being a mom. I loved being a mom even before I was a stay-at-home mom and I worked. I loved being a mom. But when I became a stay-at-home mom and actually worked at home, I realized that I love being able to do that stuff, because me being at home means that I can make sure my sons get to play the sports that they want to, take part in the activities they want to. If I was out working and my husband and I were both working, we would have to depend on an actual sitter or someone else to shuttle them wherever they needed to go. And that's if you can find somebody that would be able to even help you with that. A lot of times that's not the case, and then, you know, you can't. My parents both work, so we didn't have someone that could shuttle us to play sports. Plus, we couldn't afford it, but we didn't have someone to help us out in that department. And because of that, you know, we weren't able to play or take part in those extracurricular activities. So that's my take on that. The next question I got was kind of worded to me in a question asking. I don't know if this person had experienced a similar situation. That's why she had asked that specific question. But the weird thing is that when she asked that question, this was about 2.5, 3 weeks ago, I actually had someone personally in my life approach me about it, and they kind of aimed the question at me particularly. So since they're the same kind of question, I'm just not sure if it was geared towards her or she was just asking in general. I'm going to go ahead and tackle that, and hopefully this one will be quick. So the question was, and I'm not reading, I'm kind of going off of memory, was the person who met with me in person had asked me if I thought that I push my kids too hard to be good, to be great. Do I think that I push them too hard? Do I think I'm too hard on them? And the question that came to me via email basically asked, you know, do you think that you can push a child too hard to be successful? And my thought process on that is no. I don't think that you can push a child too hard to be successful. And here's why I say this. Many of you guys have been following my channel a while, or on social media or anything like that, know that my husband works in law enforcement. And the type of position that he has, basically, he sees criminals all the time. And the fact of the matter is that my point is that my parents pushed me hard to be successful because they wanted me and my siblings to stay out of trouble. And I do the same thing for my children. My oldest son plays 2 different sports, and he's still uncertain if he wants to take on a 3rd sport. But he plays 2 different sports. He plays football and basketball, and we're currently in the middle of basketball season. He brings home a 4.0 GPA or higher. No exceptions. He brought home a 3.8 GPA, and I was like, this is not acceptable. It's not going to happen again. He brought home a 3.5 GPA, and it was actually a mistake the teacher had made, which I had to go and correct because the teacher said she didn't get his project, and Long story short, it turned out that it ended up the 3.8, and that was way beyond unacceptable. Like, that wasn't going to happen, and I was like, this is not acceptable. We need to figure out what's going on and take care of it, and it's never going to happen again. But he has always pretty much had a 4.0 GPA, and he has 2 AP classes right now. So, you know, a lot of people always say or make this comment consistently at, oh, you push your son too hard. You know, you can't expect him to play sports, be in band. So my son takes band in intermediate school, my oldest, and he also will be in concert band next year. So not only is he going to be in concert band, which means he's the performing band, he's going to be in 7th grade, but they're going to be putting him in the 8th grade band, which is concert band. So he was given that opportunity to be able to do that, which I'm super proud of, because I was a band geek. Okay. Super proud of. But he also will be playing 2 sports again, like I said, possibly 3 if he decides he wants to play the 3rd sport, and he needs to keep his grades up. Plus he will have 2, possibly 3 AP courses next year, 7th grade. And I always get told all the time, you know, you're so hard on your son, you expect him to bring home good grades, you expect him to play these sports, and you're constantly keeping him busy. Here's the deal. When my children are too busy trying to excel in life because they want to be bigger and better people, they don't have time to think about all of the distractions that are around them. Drugs, alcohol, stealing, vandalism, everything that's happening around them. They don't have that opportunity to think about it. If their friends are doing it, you know, I teach my children right from wrong, but I also remind them that you are on a path to success. You are on a path to great things. Keep on that path. Don't let those other things distract you. When I was growing up, and then, you know, after I had my children, one of my biggest kind of sayings or whatever is, don't be like the shoulda, coulda, wouldas. And I tell that to my sons consistently. Now, if you've been following me or you know anything about my family, the twins are 6. They're going to be 7 in September. And my eldest, again, like I said, he's 12, going to be 13 in January. And he is transitioning to 7th grade. The twins will be in 1st grade. So they're still really young. But if you don't start them on the proper path now, all they need to do is meet that one person that will influence them so much that they can't tell that the bad is bad, and they're going to want to do other things. I want them to see success. I want them to see how good things can be, and, you know, what happens with hard work. I don't talk about this very often, but when the twins were born, up until current time, they were checking on them to make sure that they didn't have hydrocephalus, which is liquid around the brain. So the boys are actually a little bit, they're challenged. They need help. And so I'm constantly on top of them education wise to make sure that they, one, not only succeed, but 2, they push themselves because they know they can do it. If parents decide that that's not the life that they want their children to have, that's their own prerogative. That's their choice in life. My choice in life is to make sure that my children succeed. And if that means that I have to push them for success, I damn well am gonna do it. I expect so much of them because I know that they can handle it. I know that they can do it. And they've proven it tenfold. I mean, my eldest has played basketball since he was in the 1st grade. And most of the time, he gets a different coach for the most time every year. So he was in the 1st grade when he started. He's in the 6th grade now. That's 5 years he played because he took a break 1 year. His team, every team he's been on, has pretty much been champs for our island. That may not be that for our league. That may not seem like that big of a deal, but it's It's a lot. Practice. You practice 2 to 3 times a week, game 2 times a week. With his football, practice is 5 times a week, and then you get game usually on Saturdays once a week. And sometimes, because the twins are going to start playing football this coming season, games are going to be from in the morning to the afternoon. So it's an all-day thing for the family. Same with practice. All afternoon thing, Monday through Friday. So it keeps them busy, but I'm always on top of their work. I'm always making sure that they're hungry, they're fed. And come on, you guys have watched my family vlogs. It's not like we don't have family time together. We don't hang out. We don't do fun things together. We do all of those things too. It's just that I expect so much from my boys because we live on a damn island. Like, I'm born and raised here and lived here my entire life. And here's the deal is that I'm lucky. My parents kept me busy somewhat. Even if we didn't play sports, we were busy, and I was a surfer. So I spent a lot of my time in the ocean. You look at kids nowadays, when I drive by, I see them on the corner. I see them on a corner smoking e-cigarettes or vaping, and they're the same age as my son, which I don't ever let that happen as well. I'm usually yelling at them, telling them that you're not supposed to be doing that because it's against the law if you're like 21 or under 21 here. But regardless, like, it's such a different time frame nowadays. Kids just lack that excitement and passion, and that's what I want my children to have: excitement and passion in their future and what it holds and what it can offer them. There's nothing wrong with any of that. It's a great thing. Like, so no, I don't think, to answer the question, I do not think that I push my children too much. I think that I push them just enough. The fact of the matter is, or the goal in thought is that you push your kids, but you still have to make sure that they're not only engaged, but they love what they're doing. All of my sons love school and they love sports. And my eldest son loves band. Luke and Isaiah will probably love some form of music when they get older because they love music now. My oldest has his own electric guitar, his own piano, like, and we all have ukuleles because we love music. So the twins will probably love music as well. And it's important that, while I do say that I believe in pushing my kids, it is important to make sure that they are passionate about the things they're doing. If your child doesn't want to play football or basketball, then find something that they want to do and keep them busy that way. I asked my son, so that's why he's been playing basketball for this long. If he did want to play basketball and he wanted to play soccer or didn't want to play football, well, he did want to play soccer actually, but we told him that he decided which ones that he wanted to play, so that he could keep up with everything, and he decided basketball. And then last year he decided he wanted to play football. So, you know, you find out from your child what they want to do. If your child wants to be an artist and they want to sketch in their part-time, or they want to take art classes, or they want to do ceramics. I mean, as kids, my parents pushed the heck out of me, but we did so many fun things that may seem like work to some kids, but to us it was fun. My mom took a ceramics class at the college, and she would come home and be like, let's make this together. So we would make things together, and then she would take it to school and fire it up in a kiln. And those were fun things. Like I said, you know, we were a music family. My parents were musicians. So, you know, we learned how to play certain instruments, and we had fun with that as well. Just a number of different things. You take something the kids are passionate about and you encourage them to, you know, love that passion and engage in that passion. And thankfully my kids love school, because if they didn't, it would be a challenge. But I would still push them to keep up with school as much as possible. because they're smart kids. Like, you have to feed a child's brain, and you have to feed a child's soul. Like, literally, that's what you have to do for them to be successful. There's so many kids out there now that all they needed was that one little extra spark of inspiration, or someone telling them, hey, that's what you want to do, so long as it's good, let me help you with that. Let me point you in the direction so that you can take part in that. What can I do to assist you? And sometimes that's all kids need. That's what I needed to be and do the things that I love to do and the things that drive me. So I therefore do the same thing with my kids. And I never think that a child can be pushed too much. We should always encourage our children to be successful, and if not to be successful, to do something they love and they're passionate about, and turn it into, if not a career, turn it into something that they can make money from, enjoy, something along those lines. But I hope you guys enjoyed this motherhood version, or along those lines, a confessions of a stay-at-home mom type version of Thirsty Thursday. Thanks so much, honeys, for joining me today. I know we touched base on a lot of stuff. I hope that it helps, or that it made any sense whatsoever. Don't forget, I have an email address posted down below, thehoneygirlk@gmail.com. If you have any questions, concerns, or if you want to suggest a topic for me to talk about, you can either leave me a question or leave me a topic that you want me to discuss. I love reading your guys' emails, and I got one next week I think might be a kind of juicy. If not, don't forget, you can follow me on different forms of social media. I'm on Snapchat almost every day, and I will try to put my Snapchat snap code somewhere around here, or I think I might change my profile picture and do that, where you can use that as well. But it is honeygirlk1, and I am on Snapchat, like I said, almost every day. Otherwise, there's Facebook, Twitter, and all those other places that you can come check me out. I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Don't forget, if you decide that you're going to be joining me today on this Thirsty Thursday, definitely drink responsibly. Do not drink if you're driving, and definitely not if you're underage. I hope you guys have a wonderful Thursday, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Have a good one, honeys. Bye.